Welcome to the first tutorial on Android development. In this video, we will be introducing Android Studio and the components of every Android project. Android Studio is the official IDE for Android. It is user-friendly, fast, and cross-platform. It provides all the tools you need to make your experience in developing Android applications easy and robust. Android Studio can be downloaded from the Android developer page for free, simply by clicking on Download Android Studio and then following the install instructions. Every Android application consists of activities. An activity is a page in the application. The user can interact with the activity and can navigate between other activities. Every activity consists of a front end that contains the elements on what the user will see on the screen of the Android phone. This is called the layout of the activity. Every activity also has a Java class that implements the behavior of the layout. For example, inside the Java class, the developer would define what happens when a button in the layout is clicked. Now let's build our first application. In the home screen of Android Studio, we press on Start a new Android Studio project. Then, we choose the name of our project. Let's call it My Application. And we choose the location where we want our project to be saved. In this part, you would choose the minimum SDK your application will be running on. As it is mentioned here, lower API levels target more devices, but have fewer features available. By targeting API 15 and later, your app will run on approximately 100% of the devices that are active on the Google Play Store. So unless you are building a specific feature that is only available in later APIs, I would recommend that you choose API 15 for your applications. Now we need to choose our first activity in our application. As you can see, there are multiple templates we can pick from. For this demo, we will just choose an empty activity. We will call our activity the main activity. The panel on the left shows us all the project files. There are two main folders, the Java folder, which has all the Java classes of the project. We can see here that we have one Java class only for our main activity. The next folder is called Resources, and in this folder we will have all the resources that the application will use, from graphics to audio and of course to layouts. So in the layout folder we can find our main activity layout. The layout file is an XML file. If we click at the button below, we can look at the XML file in text mode. However, Android Studio helps us look at our layout in design mode, which is very user-friendly and easy to build your layout designs. This panel contains all the components that you can use to build your layout. All the widgets, the text views, the containers, images. You can simply drag and drop whatever you want. So let's pick this text view and drop it here. We can notice in this panel that our text view was added. This panel has all the components that your layout has. You can see here we have two text views. One was already built in the template Hello World layout, and the next one is the one we added. The right panel is the Properties panel. When we select this text view, we can look at the properties for this text view. However, some properties are hidden, so if you want to navigate through all the properties, you can click on View All Properties, and then you can have access to all the properties you want. Now these properties are actually written in the XML file, so if we go back to the text mode, we can see all the properties here. This is the text view we added. This is the ID of the text view, the width, the height, and so on. You can always change the properties in the XML file one by one. However, The design mode makes it much easier to edit whatever you want. Another important file in your Android project is the manifest file. If we go to the manifest folder, we can find the Android manifest.xml file. This file is auto-generated by Android Studio, and it includes all the information your application has. For example, we can see the label of the application. So if you want to change the label of the application that you see on the screen, you can change the name here. You can also notice that we have the main activity. Every time we add a new activity, Android Studio will automatically add it to this manifest file. Another important folder is the values folder. This folder contains three files: the colors.xml file, strings.xml, and styles.xml. In these files, you can save information that represent colors, strings, and styles that will be used multiple times throughout your application. So instead of rewriting them every time, you would only use their ID. And if you decide on changing a color, for example, you don't have to navigate through the app and change the color at every place you have it. You would only go to the colors file and change the color in that file. So if you notice in the Android manifest file here, this label is highlighted in light green. It is not really a string written here. In fact, it is a saved string in the strings file. If we double click on it, we can see that it says string/app_name. If we go to the strings.xml file, we can see this string saved here. This is the ID that saves the string, and this is the actual string. So if we want to change the label of our application, we can simply change this string here, and the label will be changed. We will look more into these files while using them in the other tutorials. The last important component of every Android project is the Gradle build. This is what Android Studio uses to build the project. If you go into build.gradle, you can see the details that the Gradle uses to build the project. For example, this is the minimum SDK version 15, which we chose at the beginning. So if you decide to change some of the settings on how you are building your application, or you want to update it to a newer SDK version, you can do it inside this file. Now let's run this application. We can press on the Run button, and we will be able to run our application on any connected device. There are two ways to run an application. The first one is on your actual Android phone. You plug in your Android phone to your computer and you will be able to see it here. The other way, which is good for debugging, it is on an Android virtual device. Now I've already created a virtual device, but you can simply click on Create New Virtual Device, and then you choose the phone you want to create. You choose what Android version you want to download on this phone and install. These are the recommended ones, but you can go and check any other images. And then you pick the name for your phone and you press Finish. You will be able to see your virtual device here. So if I press OK, it will launch the emulator and the app will be installed on that virtual device. The emulator is an actual mobile phone. It is just virtual. So it actually installs Android operating system on the virtual device. And you can trigger any feature that you will have in an actual phone using the emulator. By looking at the settings of the emulator, you can, for example, change the location of your phone. You can even create a data for the GPS to play if you are detecting a movement. You can go to the cellular and change some settings in the network. You can go to the battery and change the charge level, or how is it charging or not charging. in case you are building an app that is affected by these features. You can even fake a phone call or send a message, and you can do multiple other things. For example, rotating your device or moving it. For now, we will not care about these settings. This is our application. It is installed on this virtual device and it ran. This is our Hello World text view, and this is the other text view we added. Right now, there's nothing to do with this activity because we didn't implement anything. Hope you enjoyed this introductory video, and in the next videos we will be introducing more features and implementing them with sample examples.